and if you want to pass this around, you can. Just be careful with it. So yeah, but the manor is actually very large. I don't really have a specific size for it, but I would imagine it to be a couple thousand, actually, yeah, a couple thousand square feet. Yeah, the manor is pretty big. It's got a lot of things. I have some trees right here, and it was actually very fun to make it because I got to basically I put some, I don't know if you can see, but I put some rocks over here and I painted them gray. I also made cotton balls and then I painted them blue to look more like the Black Sea. Then I made my tribute to Charlemagne out of a cone and a wooden dowel. As you can see, it says tribute to Charlemagne. And the reason why it's gold is because Charlemagne was very important to Rome back then, so they made him be very important. So he was of great importance. Then we have this giant door, which might be thinking, why is it so big? This was because what they would do is, in the medieval ages, they had a lot of traps for intruders. And one of them was, they would basically drop it on unsuspecting intruders. So if this basically had spikes on the bottom, I think you probably may have seen these before. Basically, they're built out of wood that is crossed over, and it had spikes on the bottom. So what the spikes would do is every time they dropped it down, it was very heavy. So when they dropped it down, it dropped fast. And since it dropped so fast, if somebody unsuspecting was walking and the thing is right here, then they're gonna get they're gonna meet a very painful end. So that is the end of my presentation. Any questions?
Well, one thing is, I think there are proportions on the door wrong, and where the village is. The peasant housing district is in a tree, is right in front of your door. If the door drops, everything right there, it is just gone. And some of the merchant things gonna be gone.
It is for self-defense though.
So what about the merchant thing?
Would you rather?
If somebody's attacking, would you rather all of this be gone because they're attacking, or just these two things? I'd say these two things.
And also because peasants technically were valued less than the richer folk, so technically the peasants could die and it wouldn't be as much of a problem as if the richer folk died because they brought more of an income.
Okay, so sometimes we have just logistics, guys. She only probably had so big a size of a poster board, and you know, sometimes you have to work with what you have.
And I have a question. Why is there just some random coal pieces?
So the coal is from the mine. So they also got coal and brought it here. I know it's not here, but just use your imagination. So they brought coal, and it might have been the peasants, like I said, they would do various tasks. So it might have been the peasants to do this. And when y'all are done with that map, by the way, just give it to Jakari. So the peasants might have got the coal, or somebody else might have brought the coal and brought it to the merchant, where the merchant would sell it, or they might have brought it to these barrels right here, and then they would load the ship with those barrels so they could go trade. Any Amers?
How did the people who would mine, how did they get enough gold to create that tribute to Charlemagne?
I actually have an answer for that too. It took a lot of time because basically there have been a lot of, so you see that my thing is called the Manor of Zacchaeus, right? So Zacchaeus is a very big family name. It's gone down from generation to generation, and each time there's a bunch of kids. So because back then it was normal to have a lot of children. So they would pick the most worthy of the children, and they would become the new Lord of the Manor. So every time there was a new Lord of the Manor picked, they would make more progress on this monument until it was done.
Fun fact, Charlemagne actually had 18 children.
Yeah. So, Christopher.
I have something to say. And it is that it's like everything else. It's all the thing that you made is like really good, but I feel like the castle is did not have like all as much detail as everything else.
And as I said, and I'm sorry, as Dr. Shane said, you know, logistics. Sometimes I just didn't have enough room. Sometimes I just didn't have enough resources. But overall, I think it still looks like a man. So, any other questions? If anyone would like to come up and see this, then Colton's pass it around.
Thank
Yes,
you,
you.
Colton.
You back there.
Lovely.
That's keep on.
Cold.
Okay. Yeah. What you say?
Monastery, the little
I love the little chapel.
Oh, it wasn't a question.
peasant. The little spikes he was talking about.